Welcome to the Pirate Broadcast, where we interview interesting people doing interesting things, where you can expand your connections, your community. Kindness is cool and smiles are free. And let's get this party started. And it's a beautiful day for the Pirate Broadcast. And if you're watching this live, all the gratitude in the world. I really appreciate the pirate community and all of the joy and the enthusiasm you bring here today. And if you're watching the replay, like, comment, share it out. If you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel or the podcast or the notifications on Russ Johns, please go out there, connect with it so you can get notified when a new episode goes live. I'm starting to get into this place where the pirate community is amazing, and I just want to make sure that people are aware of the value that these guests bring to the table. Interesting people doing interesting things. And today we have Eric Miller. Eric is a coach for leadership, and we want to talk a little bit about mindset and leadership and some of the things that are going on around us in the world today. And so he's here to share a few nuggets of knowledge and keep you pirates in just up to date on what the latest greatest is. So, Eric, good morning. How are you this fine day?
Good morning. I'm super fantastic. I've been really looking forward to being on the show. You've got a great community. I love your attitude and positivity of it, of paying it forward. So, really honored to be on your show.
And it's the whole, if you watch the news, this would never take place. However, in the real world that we live in every day, there's a lot of positive things that are taking place and a lot of things that are, people are still struggling, and I don't want to diminish the challenges that people have. However, everybody has their journey and everybody has their path. And I think that if we can continue to put out positive information and kind of plant some seeds and nurture some ideas that people can take ownership of, that builds on itself. And one of the things that I know that you're passionate about is helping leaders become better leaders. So maybe you can break it down and take us on a journey of how you got to that place and what is going on in the next little bit in your future.
Yeah, thanks. Several years I was in the financial services industry and very unhappy with that career path. I had chosen it because of a lot of other people, because there's a lot of money to be made there. But I was finding that it really wasn't in my values as far as the type of work I was doing. We were asked to do things that were just not something I felt comfortable with. But I stayed because I got myself into the debt situation, the lifestyle. And I had to stay for a long period of time, but figured that
merry-go-round.
The merry-go-round, that's right. Keeping up with the Joneses and all that kind of thing. So I finally got off that merry-go-round and was able to do my own thing back in 2011. So in that path, I found that my childhood stuff that I had to figure out and leverage, because I think that all of us, and now we're going through another watershed moment in history where we're going through some traumatic events, and we can truly use this to leverage what we're doing in our own lives, and then how we affect other leaders as well. So if we embrace the change, if we make the best of it, if we really hone in on what our values are, we can create a mindset then of that positive energy that you speak of and make a difference. So that old movie with Kevin Spacey and Helen Hunt, Pay It Forward, it's resonated with me again, right, over and over again. Mm-hmm. And I want to do my part. So working on some interesting things.
I love that idea and that concept about paying it forward. And I've been teaching technology and, tips and tricks and hacks and all these kinds of things to help people make their lives a little easier. Sometimes maybe it's more complicated. I don't know. I'm a nerd, so that's just the direction I travel. However, a lot of people right now, and we were talking about this with Matt Crump yesterday, and there's a lot of people that are hurting that may not have a specific direction. They don't know where they need to go. They're kind of lost. They just need some understanding. And that's where I think a lot of people in the community that are willing to take the initiative to set some examples and take a leadership role. I mean, you don't have to have a title of leader to be a leader, correct?
Absolutely. And servant leaders that are in positions of leading can create teams of entrepreneurial leaders within their organization. So leadership up. And the millennial generation has really embraced this and taught us Gen Xers a lot of good lessons about, they like to make decisions, to be involved in decision making. And if you can harness that as a leader, where you're communicating more so than ever before because of what we're going through, because a lot of remote workers, so having lots of communication with these people and encouragement and expressing what the vision is for the organization, these entrepreneur worker bees or team members, whatever you want to phrase them as, can come up with new ways in which to show the love to the client's customers and in an entrepreneurial way. So honing in on their values, helping them to develop them and update their values, which, by the way, values should be looked at every 3 or so months. And we're going through right now, it's more often because that shifts. And you have some core values that are going to remain the same, remain static, but ones that you can adapt to a situation is important. If you don't do that, the repercussions are anxiety and fear, and uncertainty can overwhelm some people.
Well, the other thing about it is I believe these challenging times are going to generate the need for more leadership. There's going to be a lot more people that, with the economy and the pandemic and all of the unknowns that are out there, I think there are going to be individuals that are going to shine, people that you wouldn't normally see. I mean, they're just going out there doing their thing. They're feeding their family. They're, bringing food to the table. And because of these changes and because of the circumstances and because of the requirements to step it up a little bit, we're going to have to see some more leadership in place, coming to the table and taking ownership of their own lives and being responsible. And by taking those actions, we're going to see a lot more leadership, I think, evolve in the communities. I just don't see any other way of having it happen. I mean, you just can't sit on the couch forever and say, well, I'm the victim, right? So what do we need to think of in terms of mindset as we develop our leadership roles and maybe think about, okay, this is the only person that's going to take care of my family is me. I want to take responsibility. I want to be responsible. I'm going to go out there and make a difference. I'm going to go out. I'm going to figure this thing out. And I want to be proactive rather than reactive. So what kind of a thing, what kind of a mindset do we need to think about, Eric?
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. I mean, seeing the leaders who are in leadership positions that are not sure how to lead, and the ones that are not in leadership are stepping up. And that's because they have up-to-date values and their purpose is to feed their family. So purpose is oftentimes overstated, or in order to live a purposeful life, you got to go after your dream, which is true, is an important thing to do, but is it appropriate in the time? So if you've got family and you need to feed your family, is starting a new business the appropriate timing to do that when you don't have the resources to back it up?
Right.
So shifting that mindset. So purpose can be feeding your family. And that's where I'm seeing people that are not in leadership positions that are stepping up. So what you mentioned earlier about the fear and the uncertainty of mindset, what's the mindset? So I'm developing right now, and I'm a couple weeks out from it being completed, is a course that I'm going to give away for free it's going to be called Money Mindset in 12.2 minutes. Money
I'll put
mindset.
that up there on the banner. I'll put that up on the banner so you can.
Great. Money mindset in 12.2 minutes. I've done a lot of meditation. I've learned growing up, I thought meditation was for hippies, long hairs. Don't have any of that anymore. But
we go to the same barber, folks.
That's right. That's right. So, but I've found that meditation is about emptying out and being able to focus. So it's being able to focus on where when you're focused on something, that's where your energy goes. So with the scarcity and the lack of, I felt it was time to share what I've learned in visualization. And this free course is going to be about, I'm going to teach it in a way that the viewer, the student, will be able to create their own visualization in their learning style. So if they're a kinesthetic learner, for example, the visualization technique I'm going to teach them how to create their own will be more about how to feel the experience, how to feel abundance, how to feel the new money mindset. If they're a visual learner, I'm going to create an example of a meditation for them to show them how to do their own, about visualizing a good result, visualizing abundance within their organization and with themselves. And it spreads. The Law of Attraction movies, The Secret, just came out again. So sometimes what's not really expressed in there in a way that is appropriate is that the biggest takeaway is when you shift your mindset to positivity, and when you have a positive mindset and you're visualizing your goals, visualizing an outcome, you attract other people that will help you, that will show up, that will help you make it happen. So for a 959 Porsche to show up in my driveway tomorrow morning, I'm not really expecting that. But if I had the right people in the place, maybe they would say, hey, Eric, we want you to test drive this 959 for us. But I'm kind of being silly here. What I'm trying to say is that the important thing is because we've been isolating, I think that my message is going to be to connect again. We're social beings and we need that. So,
well, and a couple of key points, and I want to unpack this a little bit because I'm fascinated by the subject that, and I meditate as well. And I also believe that when we change the story for ourselves and we start having conversations about the possibility rather than the challenges, if we look at possibility and opportunity rather than the obstacles and the challenges, it changes the way we start looking at our future and our environment and things around us. And for myself, when I went down this path of looking at, well, I don't have this yet. How can I do this? And what is it going to take to get to this place? And you start thinking in those terms, and you start thinking in potential outcomes, and you go with intent. You start having different conversations in your life. The conversations are different. Therefore, you have different connections. Just like you and I, we connected and we're having this conversation about mindset, your money, your intent with money and the outcome. And there's so many things that you can turn around just by listening to a different story in your head, changing the story in your head and telling yourself that this thing is possible, because we always limit ourselves to our own understanding of what the restrictions are in our life. And it's like you mentioned earlier, like when I was a kid growing up, I had these things that, I had to learn and process and get through. And when we understand that that's not a limitation, it's a self-limiting belief. It's not a limitation. That's a big difference, right?
Absolutely. And you're talking about the story. It's changing the story of events that appeared to be traumatic and, quote, bad. And that's a dualistic mindset to label an event as good or bad. Because is it really bad? In the long term, if this event propels you to find what you're truly meant to do, if this event helps you bond more with your family because of the isolation, you're getting to know, getting reacquainted with your family again, is that truly bad? So we form belief systems. I want to kind of talk about this for a second. So we form belief systems in this way. When we experience an event, we delete, distort, and compartmentalize, or delete, distort, and consolidate the event. So when we have this happen over time, similar events over time, we create a belief system around it. Mm-hmm. So in doing that, we can truly limit what we're thinking we can do. So it's changing that story and questioning a belief. Why do I have this belief about money? What is that relationship? Is this money going to be used as a good steward to help and serve others, or how is this money going to be used? So you attract more of it. I think you're truly given more when you can manage it better, right? So it's about how you use it.
You're given more when you can manage more.
That's right. You can manage more, you're given more, because that, I believe the universe, whatever you want to call it, whatever your philosophy is on the world. If it's a God, I'm Christian, so that would be more of in alignment with how I believe. So it's how you view.
It doesn't change the outcome. It doesn't, right?
No, I mean, yeah, it is energy, and this has been proven over and over again we're all connected. So when you're using that money to serve, and you're not using it in a way that, lottery. I was watching a documentary on lottery winners, and you probably know this, that most of their money is gone within a few years. They've spent it all because they weren't prepared to have that mindset about getting a great deal of wealth at one time.
Yeah.
So are you prepared? What are you going to do with it? How are you going to use that in your situation?
Well, I think it's the same way with relationships with anything: people, money, jobs, environment. There's a lot of people that are still confused as to how to, that's why I've been, putting kindness is cool out there for so many years. It's a very simple term. Kindness is cool. Smiles are free.
I love it.
It's basic consideration. It's a basic understanding of the human condition. It's like, just be kind and, smile once in a while, and, you smile at somebody and it returns back. You double it, all of a sudden you have two smiles. There's nothing taken away. Nobody loses anything, right? Right.
In a COVID way, it's a harder expression about smiling when you're covered up with your.
Yeah, you just got to kind of watch the eyes. Yeah.
Then it's about body language.
Your eyes now.
Yeah, and if you're face to face in a grocery store or whatnot, then you're social distancing, of course. Then it's what's the body language saying? So you can smile through the body language of how you are interacting with other people and making an effort.
Absolutely. And it's a different energy. I mean, we're talking about the energy of, money and relationships and family and work and everything else. It's the relationship you have with your environment, and the more positive relationships that you put in your life. That's what I think leads to leadership. I mean, let's put it out there. Let's state it here today, is that, you put out positive things, you show people by example what can be possible. And all of a sudden people are saying, hey, check out what Eric's doing. It's pretty cool. Go to the New Mindset Academy and download his stuff when it's prepared and ready to be delivered. And it's a pretty simple very
simplistic way. The definition of a leader is inspiring others to do stuff. Kind of a very brief way of saying that. But what is it you're going to have them do? Are they going to take it and express your vision? So inspiration is something that visionary leaders are able to do with their team members. Motivation is an emotion that's very, very temporary. So there's a lot of talk about motivation, inspiration. Motivation is an emotion. When you inspire someone, that's a purpose-driven expression of how you can help lead better.
I want to take a minute here, Eric, and just share this with the community. Kathy Spooner's here this morning. Kathy, good morning. And we got Gabriel in the house. Gabriel's an amazing individual out here. We've got Guhar Ollie, I believe. I hope I didn't mess your name up. Slap tags. That would be Sherry Lawley. Thank you so much. And Angie from she's on Periscope. I don't know whether you know this, but the Pirate Broadcast, and thanks for coming in on Periscope, Angie, it's on Periscope, which also goes to Twitter. It's on YouTube, which you can actually subscribe to get notifications. It's on Facebook, and it's on my personal page. I'm maxed out currently at the connections, but it's also on the Pirate Broadcast page, so you can get notifications when we go live. And it's on LinkedIn Live. So all of these locations you can actually check out and get connected with. So, and then there's Sherry Lawley there. Good morning. And then Brian, thank you so much for being here. Good morning, watching from Guyana. We have an international audience here. Growth happens, from Andrew. Growth happens in warp speed when we learn outside our comfort zones. I have to agree with that.
Absolutely. That's great.
And Angie is saying, I can't find the LinkedIn stream again. LinkedIn, love you. And I know eventually you'll catch up. So hopefully there's a few people on LinkedIn here. If there's anyone on LinkedIn right now, could you drop the LinkedIn link in the comments here? Gabriel, so true that sometimes we manifest what we visualize in our lives into reality. And I want to speak to that a little bit, Eric. There's times where you visualize the worst possible outcome, and then it takes place.
I got to say,
be careful what you wish for, right?
Absolutely. And I have to admit that I know this stuff intimately because I'm a reformed pessimist. Because I took those events like that God hated me for so long because of the decisions I would make that I didn't take the ownership in. That I was, hey, this if it's going to happen bad, if it's going to happen to me, that situation. And that didn't serve me. I got to meet a great individual that helped me transform several years ago, Zig Ziglar, who's the late great. And Zig, I was at a conference. I met him in Salina, Kansas for the first time. Talked to Zig several times. Oh man, phenomenal. And I've had so many, I'm so grateful for so many people that entered my life at the right time. And he was one of them. And he saw in me this is in the late 80s, that I had something in me that I had to share, but I need to work through it. He didn't say it that way, but very positive Zig. If you have seen his stuff, everything is positive with Zig. And he's chosen, and we can choose the emotions we want. And when I realized that, we don't have to allow the car in front of us in traffic to ruin our day. We don't have to allow the cashier at the grocery store to ruin our day. It's our decision and what emotion we choose.
And that's a very important distinction, because we can choose to have gratitude, and we can choose to have empathy, and we can choose to have passionate, intent with what we're doing in our lives. And we can actually share that with other people. And it's like, sometimes letting people go in front of you, it's like the freeway. There's no front of the line. there's no front of the line. We're not getting there any sooner by, if we're not going to be late if we let somebody else in front of us. It's like,
I've had some really interesting conversations in the grocery store when I got out of the ego of having to be first. I'm a competitive cyclist too, so that's kind of hard for us not to want to go win everything. But, when I got out of the ego and let the person in front of me who had less items than me, and I've started some great conversations as a result of that. So you learn, if you choose to learn, you can really change your states that you're in. So if you're in a hurried state, if you're in a bad mood, you can change your state by changing your physical being. You can stand up straight.
You change your physical being. You can change your physical state by smiling too.
Absolutely, that's right. That's a physical trait. And what attention you're putting on this particular situation, then the language you're speaking to yourself and the meaning you're putting to that event.
Yeah, and I mean, and allow it to be a habit. Allow yourself to laugh and smile and tell yourself how great you feel, even when you don't. And pretty soon you won't feel as bad as you did before. It's like, and just like Sherry Lawley says, Andrew, pivot and persevere. Absolutely. Sherry Lawley, good morning, friend. Hope you're having a great day. Sherry Lawley, as Andrew says, and then we've got Kathy Spooner. Good morning, Kathy. You're having a great day. This is what the community can do, is all of these individuals in the community, the pirate community, we're all working together for the greater good of, setting an example, Eric. And it's just amazing to me that actually, so Kathy Spooner says, I think more people are willing to follow a positive leader who is also knowledgeable, because positivity inspires hope.
Yep.
Kathy, that's right on. I love that. So talk about that a little bit. How do you inspire hope with some of the people that are maybe not feeling as positive as they could be?
Well, it starts with ourselves. What we're talking about is what's my, as a leader, what's my current state? Am I in living my values? Am I doing that? So once you are clear about that, the inspiration comes from when you are able to live your values and express that to other people. So that energy we're talking about, and the reason I'm doing that free course is to help leaders to visualize that outcome so they can then express that to their teams. So I'm making it free for everyone because I don't want there to be any barrier to this. If we can, this is my paying it forward moment, that if I can, if that leader then shares that with his team or her team, then they can make an even bigger impact on figuring out what it is they need to rechannel, what emotions they need to have to drive that mission forward.
I know one of the people that is really inspirational around the LinkedIn community is Kenyatta Turner. She's good morning to the Pirate Broadcast peeps, Russ Johns, Sherry Lawley, Gabriel, Kathy Spooner, Andrew. This is, and here's my cousin, Cameron. Cameron's amazing baseball. He's in the sports. He's going to college. He's playing baseball, having a phenomenal year. Before pandemic, he was leading in his league as a stealing bases and things like that. It's just, and so thanks for being here, Cam. I really appreciate it. Love you, man. And then there's some people out there. Seth, thank you so much for being here. There's so many people out there that, Eric, we could talk for hours on how to develop leadership, community, stay positive. I think first and foremost, though, the New Mindset Academy has to be something that's put out there. And like I said before the show, get it out there, get some feedback, get some responses, and then come back on the Pirate Broadcast. And maybe let's go through a couple of lessons and teach this again. And I think because it's so needed and it's so positive and productive. And I want to make sure that people understand that you don't have to stay where you are. There are resources out here like the Pirate Broadcast, like Eric. All of the guests on the show are bringing something productive to the conversation. And if you're not connected to these individuals, tell them Russ sent you. Connect with them on LinkedIn, connect with them on social media. And where are some other places that we can find you, Eric?
LinkedIn, ericmiller.us. I want to make sure the rest of the audience understands that New Mindset Academy is not launched yet. So This is brand new. I'm about 2 weeks away. So if they go to that domain, they're going to see nothing.
But hey, it's coming. Just like Matt said, there's some things that are, and that's what's beautiful about what we're doing is we're setting the intention and we're putting stuff out there and we're working toward a goal. And I think that's the more important, that's the bigger, more important piece of the puzzle is we're doing something productive and you're doing something productive. So I just want to remind people that you can put it out there. You can produce results.
So Yeah, the visualization is the first step in taking massive action to get what you want and goal achievement. So that part is very important as well, the massive action part, which you're talking about.
Absolutely. Well, Eric, I really truly appreciate you and what you're doing, and thanking you so much for stopping by, sharing a few nuggets of knowledge with the community, becoming a pirate. Now that you're a pirate, you're involved and engaged in the community. So reach out, grab a show once in a while, share a few comments, make sure that people know you're around and available, and come back again. So it's really important for me to put things out there that are positive and introduce people to amazing individuals that are doing good work. So thank you so much.
Back at you, brother. You're doing a wonderful job, and I've seen your podcast before, and that's why I'm on the show. So I'm, again, honored to be here, and I appreciate your work.
Oh, well, thank you. Well, don't go away. We're gonna close out the show, and I'll be right back, Eric.
Okay.
Take care, everyone. And as you know, kindness is cool, smiles are free, and you enjoy the day. Thank you for joining the Pirate Broadcast. If you found this content valuable, please like, comment, and share it across your social media channels. I would love the opportunity to help others grow in their business. The Pirate Syndicate is a platform where you show up, we produce the show. It's that easy. If you want to be seen, be heard, and be talked about, join the Pirate Syndicate today.